good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Shaky here with a video review, and I'll be reviewing Ghost of Tsushima. Now, I've played the game on normal mode and on normal without any subtitles or Kurosawa, and on PS4 as well because it's only on PS4. So, I'll split the video into multiple categories between, let me check my paper, story, gameplay, comparison between other open world games, music and sound, art, visuals, bugs, and any performance, anytime the game got lower performance or anything like that, and a summary. Now, do keep in mind this is my opinion, my experience with the game. This could be varied from your experience, but what I'm trying to do with this video is give you the close idea what the experience is. Is it for you or is it not? And it's just a normal consumer like me just wants to give my thoughts on a video and help any other person to decide if the game is for them. So, without further ado, let's get started, okay? First, the story. I'll try my best to avoid any spoilers, and I'll ask my editor to put a spoiler warning when I do actually accidentally spoil something. So do actually watch the screen as well to be warned of anything. So, the story. We first start with the beginning, the presentation. That's the first place where the everything starts and the motivation to play the game in the first place, right? So, is the presentation motivating enough to start playing the game? It is. It's quite cinematic and it does show you some of the mechanics of the game. And the story is quite, it's a good start. It's quite decent, above average, I can say. And it first starts when the Mongols first invade the island of Tsushima. And, you start with the action immediately rather than just start getting ready. You start immediately with the action. And it is a banger of a presentation intro, and it will pump your blood to keep going. I can say that, and it will help you to start. And after you finish the prologue, or is it it's a prologue. Yes, you then go through the journey of the main stories. I can say that the story is above average and decent, and it fits the world and is worth playing it. But I have to say that when you play through the whole story, if you're going to play only the main missions, the main tales, okay, that's what they call in the game. In the game they call missions tales rather than missions, okay? Now, tales. If you're only focused on the main tales, you're not gonna get the most impactful story. Now, that's due in part of the writing, how the developers, SuckerPunch, have put together the story. If you want to get the most out of the story, you have to play some of the side tales. More specifically, the side characters' tales that have multiple missions tales that have multiple parts that tell their story and gives you more context and character growth for them and for Jin. Now, Jin is the main character that you play. He is a samurai who survived the battle of the Mongols when they invaded, and is trying to get rid of the Mongols from his island, from his home. Now, if you play the side tales of the game, you're also gonna get a much better idea of what is Jin's character. In my opinion, he's a three-dimensional character, but for some people, they will think he's a two-dimensional character when playing the main tales. Now, only the main tales, I mean. But the other tales will actually make it flesh out the character even more with some dialogue and other things. That I will highly recommend those who don't do any side activities should do some of them, just to give you a much more impactful story. Okay, and the ending of the game, now I won't spoil anything, it is beautiful, just a perfect way to end it. Now, I have to note this. I have to tell you that the game takes itself seriously, because it's the island is being attacked and being invaded by outsiders, and they're trying to torture the people and all that. I won't tell you even more, but it's quite serious. But you get some humanity left in the world, where people are still in the gray area. They're not white or black, and it's quite complex. You get some tiny moments of humor, so it's not always serious, and it's not always serious, but most of the time it is. And the game does actually make you want to care more about the story and the people, to help them, to make them, to do your job in this game as the player. Now, before I go on to the next topic, I have to talk about the villain. Now, the villain is no Micah, if you getting my reference here, viewers. He's a good character. He is quite good at being bad. Yeah, he's a great villain. He's quite intimidating, cunning, and the acting, how the actors acted the characters, really convinces you the characters are real and are dangerous. And the good ones and the bad ones, the acting is spot on in this game. And the villain, wow, just wow. If you're gonna just get an idea what's the main villain is, try to watch the announcement trailer. Just hear the character talk, and you'll be just, that is somewhat of a menacing villain. That's all you have to do, just to get the idea what's the villain and what is the villain like. Now we go on to the next topic, gameplay. So, what is the gameplay of this game? You have sword combat, stealth, and traversal, and many smaller things as well. And I have to say that the combat itself is really fun. SuckerPunch did really great. It is one of the best games they did, and they're well known for doing fun games. And if your game is fun, that means it is really compelling for gamers to buy it, and it makes them, the player stay engaged when playing the game. Because if it's not fun in some areas, it's not worth playing the game at all. And since it's fun, it is less boring, and you don't get tired when playing the game. And many players, I've heard that they can't stop playing because the combat itself is just so engaging when playing it. Now we go with the sword combat and the stealth, and those are the sword combat itself is really great. The stealth part is just average, just it's good enough. It suits the game, It's not that too complex, but it does the job done and gets people who are not familiar with stealth combat. They will, well, this game will introduce them to the standard. This is what I see as standard stealth gameplay is. First, we go with the sword combat. The close range is fun. You get to battle against enemies. You have multiple stances, and these stances have they are more sufficient against certain types of enemies. The game explains which stances are more effective against which certain enemies, and you get these stances by observing and killing leaders. You have also the ability to throw items against enemies at enemies, such as a bomb or a small knives, and you take the advantage against your enemies. You break their guard, and you can then attack them. Now, enemies have a guard meter and a health meter. First, you get rid of their guard first, so you do a heavy attack, and then you do a quick attack. Now, the quick attacks are just regular attacks. Now, the heavy attacks do damage, but they're slow. They're much better against filling up the meter of the block where they can't block anymore, and they are vulnerable to attacks. And the quick attacks don't actually affect the meter itself. Only the heavy attacks and other items that you can throw against them do affect their meter of the block meter. Now, you have close range sword combat, where you go head on, and one of the things you can do in this game is a standoff. So I not highly recommend, but it is quite cinematic and is satisfying to do a successful standoff. And if you do a standoff, you'll gain some resolves. Resolves are like focus meters, similar to Spider-Man PS4, Shadow of Mordor, or War, where a meter fills up every time you attack an enemy, and you can do some special attacks or heal yourself, similar to how Spider-Man, when you fill up a meter, you can then use it as a finisher or to heal yourself. You have also the stealth combat. Now, that is more towards the the ghost side of the game. Now, Jin, who is a samurai, who is now in the game, who's becoming more of a ghost. Now, the ghost is like a ninja. That's what I'm understanding. More dishonorable than a samurai, where he does attack the enemy from the from the shadows rather than head on. Unlike a samurai who does them face to face when killing your enemies. The ghost does it from their from when they're sleeping without any honor. Now, stealth combat is decent enough. The enemies do some patrols and try to find you and anything like that. It's not really complex where they increase their guard even more when they spot something suspicious or anything like that. It's quite simple. It's decent. It gets the job done, but it's anything groundbreaking. It's standard in many areas, but it does the job done. It does. Oh, it gets the job done. It gets the job done. And you have multiple ways of attracting your enemies and then striking. You can take control of the situation very easily when you're playing the stealth style. But you also can do it in combat. You still have you have control uh, over the situation more so than the enemy has. But they can overwhelm you when you let your guard down and let them hit you sometimes. I played this on normal mode. I got killed many times just getting used to the game. And yeah, you have to just keep your head straight and get used to the controls and not to screw some things up. Yeah. All right. I have to tell you that the controls, it is very different than many games. You don't have a lock-on system similar to Dark Souls games where you lock onto a specific character. It is more similar to Spider-Man, where you lock onto a specific character by using your left analog stick and pointing to the direction of that character. It's similar to Spider-Man, but the difference between the two, you don't see a white line over the enemy when you point at them. That's only in Spider-Man. They don't have that in this game, but it's similar to that. And the camera changes a bit just to give you a much more better view of the enemies when you're in combat against these enemies. So get used to the controls to make it much better for you to, be able to take down the enemies much more quicker and stay a few steps ahead of them. Stealth combat helps you a lot to thin out the herd, and the sword combat really is satisfying when you do it. Now these things can be upgraded, stealth and combat and many other areas, and the progression system for this game, it is a relief, people. It is satisfying. I didn't feel any grinding. When you play a game that has a upgrade system, it feels mostly grindy. If you've played an Assassin's Creed game from recent years, Origins or Odyssey, an RPG, yeah, some of those games, it's a bit grindy when you play them. And the progression system for this game, it is satisfying. Wherever you do in this game will improve your character even further, adding some new weapons, increasing your meter to add a new stance. That's when you kill some leaders. And doing some side tales will give you some they always give you a legend meter, something. You have a legend meter. It's similar to a level up meter, where you increase your legend. Every time you increase your legend, you hit a point where you get a new technique point. And if you fill the meter to the fullest, you then get to increase your health and get a new title. And sometimes you get an extra resolve slot. You can also get legend meters from taking down enemy forts and so on and so forth. You can also upgrade your character by adding some charms. Those are modifications for your character, improving his stats, either defense, attack, or anything else. Any other things you can do in this world, also following foxes, similar to this on screen, and filling up a meter, where the meter, when it's filled up, you get a new charm slot, so quite helpful. You can do other things. In the map, you can see multiple things that are undiscovered, and when you discover them, and you can look up if what benefits, what rewards you will get from them. And it's quite helpful for any person to see which activity to do it's worthwhile for them to do. You have multiple things, either finding hot springs where it will increase your health, and also what else? Shrines. Those are similar to a platform, climbing up the platforms and reaching to the highest top, and to get a new charm or something else. You can also do some side tales that give you equipment or new techniques to use in battle. That's quite useful, very useful. And also you can gather some supplies and upgrade your equipment. And you can find everywhere some supplies, bamboo and other things. And there are some supplies that do benefit you in customizing your character, changing the colors. And you can find and buy. No. I think you can't buy any outfits, but you can find outfits and upgrade them, and enhancing the armor, its stats, its boosts for your character, and to pick a equipment best suited for you. Yeah. What else there is? Let me remember. Yes, now I remember. It's right in front of my face. The traversal. Now you can run, sprint, ride your horse, and all of it's fun. And you can climb things. Most buildings you can climb up on top of, and cliffs, but only certain parts. The developers have designed it that certain ledges you can climb on top too, but they've made the game, there are enough climbing ledges where it won't stop your momentum of traversing through the world and all that. And you can if you progress through the story, you'll get a grappling hook that will benefit you in, also benefit you reaching places that weren't possible before. And yeah, that is. I guess I've talked about all the gameplay that I've seen, that I've experienced. Now I'll go on to the next topic, and that's comparing the Ghost of Tsushima to other games. What are the not benefits? What are the new things, and what are so similar to other open world games in other games as well? So let's go. I've touched upon the progression, where it is very different than most open world games. There are some open world games where it is not repetitive or grindy, but in this game that it just doesn't have that for me. Maybe for other people when they experience it, but I didn't feel any grind when playing the game. That's either due to the part of the progression system and the gameplay. So I believe that's the reasons. And other similarities between other open world games is the the outposts, where you have to liberate an outpost from the enemy, and and take back the land for the people. It's similar to many other open world games. They have that. It's like a trope, but since in this game you have great gameplay, it won't be any repetitive when doing the outposts. And another similarities. Let me see. You can fast travel. Yeah. A third-person view. Yeah. And stealth mechanics here, similar to many others. Yeah. I'm just gonna have only one thing different from other games. In this game, you don't have a regular waypoint where a compass shows you exactly where to go when you set a destination. In this game, you have the guiding wind. Now you follow just a wind where the direction, where your destination is. And this is a great game design, because it encourages you to explore the world without even forcing you in your face to do so. You actually are getting the, a slight nudge to explore the world without even being, in your face. And also, it's more immersive as well. So less UI on the screen will make you feel more in the world, rather than take you out from the immersion. And it's quite nice. They've designed it real well, where you see the wind effects, the special effects, particle effects, where the wind shows you exactly where to go. And you get a little bit sidetracked, because it's not it's not an arrow, so you have to adjust yourself every time you get closer to your destination. You have also other things that help you discover things, such as the visual hints, examples, a smoke, white smoke, black smoke, and a bird, any objects or anything that look off-putting. They'll tell you that there is something there that is a visual hint. So there are not that many games. I can only think of Breath of the Wild and maybe Red Dead Redemption, but that's only slightly. Most games, open world games, give you a marker on the map and shows you that there is something there. But in this game, you have to discover that if it's there, and you have visual hints that will help you discover them much quicker. And it makes it more immersive, that and it makes it fun to discover them yourself, and you get just a little hint by following the visual hints in the world, the environments, and that. And another similar, not similarity, is something different from many other games. This game is more cinematic in the whole UI. If you play the game, you're mostly not going to see any UI on the screen. So it's more immersive. It's similar to Spider-Man PS4, where the UI will only come up when you ask it, or when you need it, like in combat or something else. So this game is more immersive than most open world games, because they have designed the UI to be less frequent. And yeah, that's another difference and similar to another game. Time to see what next. Let me check my paper. Aha. Music and sound. So let's go to music and sound. Now the music in this game, just wow. It's fantastic. I just can't stop hearing it. And if you're gonna hear it for the first time, you're gonna want to buy it just to hear it all day. And it's all original. I've never heard this soundtrack before, so it's it's original for this original game as well, and for this new IP, and I'm really happy for that. And the sounds in this game, quite immersive. You can hear the birds chirping, the sound of waterfalls, and other things. The wind, you can hear the wind every time you call upon it to help you guide you the way. And you can hear the wind, particle effects, fire, and many other things, and the enemies as well. So it's spot on. I don't know. I'm not too technical in this area, so I don't know if it's on the highest levels, but it's enough for me as a casual person to be immersed in the world. And yeah, this one was a short topic. Let's go to the next topic. Yeah, sound music, and it is visuals and art. What can I say about this game? It looks beautiful. When I look at it, I think the developers did not go into a realistic look, but simply to a not cinematic, a more artistic look, where it's almost all the time beautiful. I just can't say what it is, but it's so eye-catching. And I'm really happy that this game looks so beautiful in its own way. So that means that when you take a screenshot from this game in multiple other games that are beautiful and put them on a board, and you'll ask them which one is Ghost of Tsushima, and you'll immediately say that one, because the artistic style the developers have taken is it looks different from many other next generation and non-next generation, current generation high top graphics and all that. And I'm really happy that they made a really eye candy game, and you won't be disappointed. Your eyes won't be disappointed with this game. Yeah. So let's go to the next topic, and that is bugs and any performance issues that I have experienced. Now I'm going to start with the recent one that I have experienced, and this is when I've updated the game into 1.05 version. So this is quite new with the latest update, for the game. And this bug, it prevents me from fast traveling. This happened when I finished a outpost, and there was just one dog who's going to try to kill me. It's going to attack me, but rather than just going to kill him, I just went to the menu and see the map if I've cleared the outpost, and it shows me that it went poof. That means that I've actually cleared the outpost, and after doing that, I tried to select an area where I can fast travel. It says it's unavailable because I'm in combat. I've remembered that I was still still in combat with a dog. So what I did, I just ran away. Tried to ran away enough distance where the dog can't follow me, and after that, I checked if I can fast travel. I still couldn't. I don't know how it happened, but I still couldn't. And how I fixed this, I went to and finished a tale of some sorts, and everything just restarted. And so I can then I fixed the problem with fast traveling. But this is a problem that should be fixed. SuckerPunch, please do fix this. And any other bugs I've faced. Well, any frame rate drops, I didn't experience any big ones, only maybe slight ones. I didn't notice them because they were first in the beginning, in the prologue. It's very graphics heavy, taxing for the console to do so. And the frame rate drops just a little bit, but it's unnoticeable, so you think it's just still smooth 30 frames per second. And you have an option to put it on performance mode, where it will stay stable 30 frames per second with no problem, and that's also good. And so there wasn't any frame rate drops so significant in this game when I was playing. But I did experience some assets not ready rendered in some some assets. I've noticed this in a side tale where I was helping a monk to find a statue and return it back to the monastery or temple. No, not a monastery, temple. I can't remember, but we have to find this statue. And the statue, when we found it, is the asset itself was still not fully rendered, and it was still not rendered until we returned it back to the temple. And it was a bit strange just seeing the model not fully detailed, and I wasn't didn't know exactly why it happened, but it's another thing that the game didn't actually do well to render all the assets before we started the mission or during the mission to render them. So there was that. And any other bugs? I believe no. I didn't get any crashes or anything else, but I did get some problems with the animations, with the stealth kills, where it didn't lock wasn't connected to the enemy. I could do a stealth kill without actually being the blade being inside of the enemy when I slice him. So there was some animation glitches or bugs that didn't actually make sense, that I've killed the guy, but I didn't even touch the guy. There was that problem. And there was another problem where I was on a ledge of something and there was an enemy and I could stealth kill him, but for some reason I tried to do so, but for some, he just we weren't that far away. He kept walking the opposite direction. I was trying to reach him by, the stealth kill. I jumped trying to do the stealth kill, and for some reason I didn't work at all. And it did the animation of killing the guy, but the guy still didn't die. So there was two problems where the animation didn't connect to one another, and another one where I started the animation, but the result didn't happen. So those are one of the problems that I have experienced, and there might be other bugs, but weren't unfortunate enough to experience them. Oh, wasn't fortunate? I don't know which word's better to, fortunate enough to experience them or unfortunate enough to experience them. Yeah. That's it for the bugs and any low performance issues or anything like that. Now we off to the final thing, and that's the summary. The story of this game, above average. I loved it and might play it again in the future. The gameplay, satisfying. I literally was having fun the whole time, and I was always expanding in the game. It was always giving me something new to play. Comparing to other open world games, any other games, this one stands out different, where it is similar to them, but does things much better, and I like that a lot. And visual, sound, music, the art style. What can I say? And the bugs and any cons in this game, they don't bother you that much because the game is still that good that it overshadows all those negatives. And the price of this game, $60. Yeah, the quality does reflect the price. Even the quality overshadows the price. I'm telling you, it is that good. And I hope that my review helped you to decide if this game is for you. Try to look into other videos of gameplay, anything like that, just to get more of a better idea that this game might be yours if you want to play the game at all. And this was one of my best games I've played, and I'm gonna put it in my special shelf where my favorites are. thank you very much for watching this video. Please comment down below what things I've missed, or anything that were significant that I should have talked about, and any advices or criticism to improve my commentary and all that, and any video editing things, you know, how to make the videos even better. And I'll talk to my editor how to do that, and who'll say, "You don't tell me what to do. I am the boss here," and dot. Of course, he doesn't talk like that. He's much more calmer. Yeah. Yeah. Please comment down below for any of your opinions. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching this video. I'm sorry if it took that long. Apologies. And thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night.